Hi everyone, today I'm just gonna do a world tour of my hardcore world. So I'm pretty close to 5,000 days, um, like only 35 days away. So when when that happens, I'd rather do a world tour now because my world is so big at this point that it would take a couple Minecraft days to do a world tour. Probably only like two or three, but um, yeah, let's just get into it. So first thing is this outpost. So originally it was just built exactly like this outpost, except with cobblestone or with deep slate replacing the cobblestone. So that and then I replaced with warp wood for the dark oak, and then there's a little bit of skulk, and then crimson wood for the birch. And I just have a bunch of other stuff inside, some endermen. And then I have like my first pair of diamond armor and some tools and stuff. And then here's where I used to have an enchanting room and a bed. And then here is where I used to have a chest with all my stuff, but now it's just kind of the top of the house. So I don't really use this place that much anymore, except for the stone cutter, which I moved outside, and the smithing table, and sometimes the anvils. And I do have quite a bit of stuff in here still. I still have fuel constantly. But now let's move on to the next thing. So next thing I could show off is this. This is just a big chunk of deep slate that I mined out from the ground. I wanted to spawn proof it, which I didn't really feel like doing because I kind of like how dark it is. Plus there's a lot of golems, so if anything did spawn inside. But I did fill it out with slabs. As you can see, the lighting's a little strange right there. But yeah, that's all there is for this thing. And the next thing I could probably show off is my very first base. So this I just built on Christmas for some reason. It kind of just makes it look like a barber shop, but so this is just the first house I ever built. I just carved into this mountain, and then there's a wall right here. There's a hole, so I just built cobblestone. So this place I had to pretty much build a house here because there's pretty much nowhere else to go, and I will explain that in a little bit. So next thing I could probably show off is this castle. So this castle used to be built on a mountain, but then I mined out the majority of the mountain. I'm actually planning on just moving the entire castle. There's really not much in here. I've never used this thing. I was actually planning on making this my actual house, but as you can see, that all I did was make some thumbnails using this chair. Next thing I can probably show off is this house. Well, this is pretty self-explanatory. I'm making a netherite beacon, so this is just my my main house that I still use. So I built this when I was like going into 2,000 days, as you can see, and this did take a long time to build, even though to be honest, it really does not look that good. But on the inside, this is the thing I like the most. Well, no, I guess it's on a different floor, but as you can see, I really don't use this floor too much. I used to use this as a bed, but not anymore. There's a lot of dirt because there's endermen and stuff. And there's beacon, which I made go through the entire house. I could have probably placed glass, but I didn't. So this is one of my favorite parts. This is just a big axolotl tank that I have. I use this when axolotls could still spawn anywhere that was dark and underwater, instead of having to be in a lush cave biome. So there's really not much else here. There's just a couple bedrooms, which I did use for a while, but I stopped using them, so I barely use this house anymore. And then should be some wood in here. Yeah, there's a little bit. I'm actually going to steal these from my tree farm, which I'll show off in a little bit. So yeah, there's really not much in here. And then in this room, I do have a little story behind it. So when I was building this, there was just a random bee stuck in this glass. Like, it was just stuck there and it couldn't move. Yeah, and I tried to push it, it would just constantly try to fly, so I broke the glass and I let it go. I don't know where that bee is nowadays. This is just the top, and there's a few lightning rods and stuff. And then the way I got this to work is that there's actually just stairs up there. So I should probably remove the cobblestone, but I don't really care that much, so it's fine. But there are just stairs up there. I probably could have placed slabs and it would have had the same effect. I did not make that. Let's see if I can make this one. So next thing is this museum. So I was also, like, a lot of these builds that are made out of mostly wood. It's probably, that actually might be the bee I'm talking about. So, this is just my museum. It's got some trees and pufferfish up here, but I don't know how easy they are to spot. And then this is the strider I used to get the where is it? Feels like home. Yep, this achievement. And then this is my music disc collection. I got most of the discs except 5 in Pigstep, which I will get sometime. And then this thing, it used to have like a glitched snow block right here, but it kind of resets when I reset the world. And there's still a lot of deep slate coal I found. This is my catalyst from the Deep Dark. Then this is just a dragon egg, wither skulls, paintings, netherite cake. I'm glad I put that there. Very useful information. So next thing, I could probably show off this. I'll get to that in a little bit. So there's really isn't much in here as well. Like a thing with a lot of my builds, I want to make them into bases, but then I just lose interest, or I think they're ugly or something. Like this one, I don't really think is ugly. My original plan was to make all this cobblestone a base, but then I was like, oh, that makes a pretty cool looking castle, so I just stuck with the castle. And I was also planning on building a big pillager outpost, but I got bored of that. And I just have some pixel art of Ridley and Kirby. I built Ridley because I made him in Smash Ultimate, and Kirby because he's easy to do pixel art of. And then next I can go to this mountain I built. So this mountain was a really hard build to do to get it to look right, but it does look really good in my opinion. And then on the inside there's just some trees and grass and moss and stuff. And then there's another beacon which has blue stained glass right there. And then I used to have all my skeleton horses in here, but I moved them all to another mountain. So that's just a waste of stone, which is literally what it's named. And then this is a grass block that I made. Can go to start exploring my floating islands now. So this is just a bee house. Doesn't have any bees anymore because I took them all out and put them into that place and my bee farm. Some random stuff. And then I could show off this next. I'll show off that in a little bit. There isn't really much for some of the sky islands. There's like a little bit of stuff, but that's it really. So this is just one of my favorite builds. I'm trying to be able to fly through there. This is one of my favorite builds I built because it's just another gigantic mountain. But this one is a lot bigger than the other one, but I'm pretty sure this barely took a little bit longer because the design is way less intricate. I do want to be able to fix the top sometimes because it looks kind of weird. But here's where most of my bees live now. I do have a shulker box full of a bunch of bees. But that's it really. I just carry that around because I forgot to empty that before this world tour. So again, there's not a crazy amount of stuff in here. But the cool thing is that I built this all over an ocean. So if I break one of the moss blocks, or actually I'll just break one of the deep slate because I can replace that. This is all over an ocean. As you can see, it's just all over an ocean, and there's a bit of magma blocks down there. And then I can go over here. There's a turtle and all my skeleton horses. And one funny thing, Azalea do completely break mob AI for some reason. Like, their pathfinding is just really messed up. I was thinking about reporting it to the bug reporter, but it's just such a funny glitch that I'd rather keep it there. I hope no one reports it. This is just a robot, there's nothing in there. Then this is just a house I built. So I was planning on making this like a really big storage room, but there's not much in here. And then the cool thing about this is that if you know about the sacred Minecraft text of the official handbooks from like 8 years ago now, this is just a house I stole from that. And honestly, I'm kind of surprised how well the build has aged. But I'm super happy about this floating island, because before this it was kind of just a huge not a triangle but diamond of grass, so there's no stone at all. So this is all fairly new. I say fairly new, but I finished it about 1,000 days ago now. It just feels fairly new. So this is my slime farm. I really don't use this thing anymore because it constantly breaks. And by that I just mean the, basically just the, what am I thinking of? The collection system always breaks. So maybe it's broken right now. So it's a really easy ender pearl stasis chamber that I just decided to build because it was part of my slime farm. So sad thing about this slime farm is that it doesn't even go down to the old Y level. So this only goes down like Y10. So it's pretty decent as a slime farm, but this thing always breaks for some reason, and I really don't know why. So I can do some basic explaining. So this minecart collects stuff, and then it just puts it into a hopper that sends a signal, turns off the torch, deactivates that, stops that until items stop flowing, and then it goes again. But that just doesn't work for some reason, and I don't know why. So now I can move on to a bit more stuff. So again, to this thing, I actually finished the build per se not too long ago. In fact, earlier today I finished it. So the last touch I had to do is put in all these lights, which look really good, to be honest. I was thinking about doing glowstone, but I like the sea lanterns a bit better. So this thing is kind of just a room of farms, and then this is all the new 1.19 mobs besides the warden. I'm thinking about capturing that, but the closest deep dark is about 3,000 blocks away, so I don't really feel like capturing one. But I'm planning on duplicating this Allay sometime. I think his name is Dave or something like that. I forgot what I named this Allay. Jerry. I have a bunch of frogs and stuff. And then here's a single fish. And that's my horrible super smelter. I'm planning on just removing the entire thing because it's really useless. And then here's just a little storage area. I'm planning on lighting up more because you can barely see anything up there. It's just a really fast cobblestone generator. I'm surprised I didn't have one in my world before. And then this is the tree farm. So this thing was a pain to build, but it was very worth it in the end. So the way this works is that, you know, I don't even know if I can explain it. All I know is that you place a tree here, it grows. Fence gates somehow push it along, and then yeah, that's all I really know. And then there's a TNT duper that blows it up. That's all I could say about this thing. It is really useful though. I'm surprised how good it is. It's supposed to be really good. It's like 12,000 logs per hour or something like that. I forgot about this sugarcane farm because I never use it, but it's somehow still pretty good. I just have one because why not? This is my mob farm. It's nothing too complex, but I did add a storage system in the past 100 days. So, break that real quick. This is actually the fastest way I can AFK gunpowder. So, I do have a raid farm, which makes it a lot faster, which is a lot faster than this method, but this is the only 100% safe AFK method I can do. So this is just an easy way to get some items that I need sometimes. Then now I'm pretty sure I can move on to this thing because it's pretty close. I'll move on to that in a second. So that's just a little parkour map I built involving drip leaves, just to do it for fun. I'll wait for that to go off. I failed. I failed again. Okay, I'm gonna turn on the block sounds and take off my light shirt real quick. Okay, as you can see, I'm not good at this. It's probably because it's so dark, but I could probably light that up sometime. So next thing is this. This was one of my favorite builds, and it did take a long time, but before this, the edges were really ugly because there's barely any like overhang to it, so it's kind of just a straight tall line, and it was pretty ugly for a while, but I decided to fix it during this 1,000 days. So there's pretty much nothing inside of here. There's a very small storage room in here with some stuff. Like I stole that. There's nothing in there. With a little bit of gunpowder. I'll actually take that because that's useful. You know, put it back because I'm not gonna need it. And then there's nothing in here. Hit my head. This is a very bad beacon placement. But then there's a bunch of other stuff in here. I'm pretty sure these are soul campfires. Yeah, these are. And yeah, I just put carpet on here because why not? And this was kind of like a 1.16 nether biome area. So I should probably put some lava in here to make it look a little better, but I'm still proud of this. I call this the Nether Gardens because it's just a small little garden area. So this is Salt Delta biome. Just a little bit of magma blocks. Forest, and then this thing kind of just made like a like some, I don't know what this is supposed to be. This is just kind of a cool thing I built. And then this is just a little area I built. Now I can move on to some of the stuff in this area. So this thing's actually pretty useful. This is a farm. And I used this for golden carrots for a while, but then I realized that pork chops were probably the better food source because they replenished a bit more. I don't know if golden carrots are, because every time I try to search up like a Minecraft food tier list, they're all very outdated. So this is the new house I'm working on. It's almost done, but I don't really know how to build a roof because the design I built, like I can build like a traditional roof, but I don't know if that'll look good, so I could probably test out creative or something. So this is just a little castle area, again, just like that one, except a lot smaller. And then this house is, I actually really like this house, even though it's so small. So it doesn't have that much stuff, but I still like it because of how simple it is. And just because it reminds me of the old villager houses. Just a little better. I don't know why there's glowstone in here, but I think it's because I used it for the lighting. Oh, I almost forgot to show off my my favorite character. This is Dr. Villager. The best character. He agrees. Okay, so now I can move on to stuff outside of this. Okay, well, real quick, there's Amethyst Farm, Random Pillar. That's it. I can't move on just yet. I got a few more things. This is just a failed drowned farm that I used for a little bit to get one trident. Well, I think two. I think I got both of these from that. But that was it. And then this slime farm is actually really good. So this is a pretty new slime farm design. It's a brown mushrooms slime farm, and it's actually really good. I get more slime from this farm than the farm over there than like in a few hours than in a night. I don't even think this is a few hours. I think this is all in like 2 hours or something. This farm's really good. I would suggest building one because it's a lot easier than the chunk-based ones, and because it's just a lot faster as well. And a few more things I can move on to. This is my old village. I don't even know if there's any villagers here anymore. But this is just the first village I used to get some of my tools and stuff. I don't even use that anymore because I don't know how I forgot to show this off. This is my god armor, so it has every kind of thing you can have, except soul speed on these ones. But I do have swift sneak on these, which I'm pretty glad I do. And then I pretty much have every enchantment possible except soul speed, which is kind of sad. But yeah, that's really isn't too much to show off in this area. I'll just go in here because I have quite a few farms on the nether roof. I don't really know where I am because the nether fog's too heavy. I don't know where I'm going. Okay, let me turn up my render distance a little bit. That's not that much of an improvement, but I'm able to see where I am. That's all I needed. So this is my old gold farm. I don't really use it anymore because it's not that good compared to my new one, which I'll show in a little bit. I didn't even know this thing broke. Huh. So this is my bartering farm, which is just 3 guys in a pit. And then this is a bunch of random stuff I got traded but don't use. Okay. I'll show off a little bit of the Guardian farm. It's Hogwind farm. Pretty self-explanatory. So this is my Guardian farm. So that's it really. It's not much to show. Oh, I think I'm going the wrong way for my new gold farm. Okay, I'm gonna turn it all the way up to 32 just so I can barely see. There we go. So this is my new gold farm. This farm is insane. It's kind of overkill, but I'd still love this farm. So only drawback on this farm is that you do have to set your render distance to 2 chunks to be able to get the full capacity, and sometimes it's pretty annoying. So there's two modes, which just so there's like an automatic mode where they just fall down and die, and then there's this one which gives you quite a lot of XP. So you kind of use this as an XP farm as well. So it gives a lot of XP. And then here's the automatic mode. They all just fall down. Turn this on again. I need to turn down the blocks. So that's all good now. That was a mistake. So that's it really. So, and then here's this collection system. The collection system was a pain to build because I messed it up the first time. I built it the wrong way, so I had to basically fix all of this. So the way it works is that it just collects all of the gold and rotten flesh, then it spits it out. The pistons push it, and then it gets pushed on the inner chest. That pushes that, and the unneeded stuff gets thrown into lava. It's pretty satisfying to watch, though. My inventory's full. So here's all the items I collect from this thing. So that's the only kind of chest that's not really full, but pretty much every other double chest is. This farm is really good, but I don't really have any extra uses for it. So now we can move on to some of the other stuff in the world. I'm gonna do the stuff in the Nether first. So this thing I'm pretty proud of. I like this little area. It's not, I don't use it, but I just like this as an idea. So this was my old Hoglin farm. So how it would work is really complex. You won't believe how it works. I used a bone meal and I bred them. That's what I did. And then I use this to push them away. And then on the outside there's a little sign that just says everything you need to know about this farm. Okay, here's the very in-depth description. You blow up my wall. Okay, you need to stop. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to this village. This is the main village I use for a lot of stuff. But I don't really know what happened to the villagers here. They're just gone. Most of my good villagers are gone, which is strange, but it happened. I think it's because I did a few raids here. I think that's the main issue. So yeah, I still have some people. But the main thing I use this village for was for the farms, because I have quite a few really good farm plots over here. And then this was my outline for a castle, but I never did that. That's my potato farm. I have 2 wheat farms, no carrot farms for some reason, but then I have the sugarcane farm. Really not too much in this area, but oh, there's my first iron farm. I don't use that anymore. I did forget to show one farm in my main base. But I guess that farm can draw into my next section. So this is my main village. So this thing used to be basically nothing. So before this, it was literally just, how do I say it? It was a bad raid farm. That's all this thing was. There used to be a little pit in here, and it would just make it easy to get totems. I used that raid farm. I think there might be a little bit of it left, but I don't really know where it is. I just know it's somewhere underneath this area. It's mostly like filled out though, so most of my attention went to this village for quite a long time. It was like during the 3,000 days era. This is just a chest room, not much in here. And then I have quite a few golems and stuff. Then I have this Statue of Liberty, which is just a child drawing of myself. So it just has a crown and then like the pixel eyes that I have. And that's it. It's to intimidate the villagers. And then here is my trading hall. I want to make this thing look nicer, but I don't know how. So here's where a lot of useful villagers are. I don't know why that there is, even though I projectile protection 4. That is impossible to say. So there's stonemasons, armorers, stuff like that. And then I have villagers here. And then here's just the villager area. Then that's my house. Not too much in there. Here's my villager breeder, which just has a bunch of villagers ready to use at any time. So last thing is over here. This is just a potato farm, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I think that's it. It's just for farming potatoes, but I never use it. I did hear a slime. I was about to go after it, but then I realized I have 2 good slime farms. That's just a sugarcane farm. There's nothing up. There's not much up there. So this is where, for 2,000 days, this is where I fought 15 withers. So, and a bunch of bees apparently. So I fought a bunch of withers here. There's a lot of destruction, but it was a very fun fight. It was, even though it was basically me just getting attacked by them, running away, looking at my armor being almost destroyed, and then just taking them out one by one. I want to do that again for 5,000 days, perhaps in a new area. That would be fun. And now I can show the farm I was talking about. So that's my old creeper farm. I never use that anymore. This is my super iron farm. So this farm was insanely hard to build. This is by far the hardest farm I've ever had to build. Mostly because of the villagers, because there's 3 villagers in each of those little pods. and there's 5 of these sections. So as you can see, it's already working. So there's 3 villagers, 3 by 4, so that's 12 times 5, so there's 60 villagers in this entire farm. It was insanely boring to build, but it was very worth it, as you can see. If I tried, I could, well, if I wanted to do more with this farm, I could probably, I don't know why the villagers aren't rendering. It's probably because they're asleep. Yeah, that's weird. Okay. So that's all I can say about this farm. Now, that's just a boat. Under here is my old drowned farm. I don't use that anymore. And then here is kind of weird because this whole plot of water is just elevated because of the amount of kelp I put here. Oh, you're actually, that guy's actually a good example for my raid farm. So now I do have to go this way to avoid summoning a raid over here. Please don't summon a raid. So let's go over here. So now let's go to the raid farm. So I have a little minecart track going through here. This is the spawn proofing I did for my piglin farm, or my gold farm up there. So we're almost there now. Here it is. So this is my raid farm. This is a stacking raid farm, which I built not too long ago. Well, I say that, but it was probably quite a while ago. I'm gonna turn that down more so I can actually hear what's going on. So I did upgrade the storage system, so I could have more stuff, but even that's not enough for the amount of stuff I need for this farm. So I do have a bunch of bottles just laying around here, which are pretty useful. I have gold and all this other stuff. Hopefully a bunch of Vexes don't kill me, even though they probably will. Oh, I need a different sword as well. Stop this thing from breaking. Okay, I know this will look like nothing to you guys, but OBS kind of I ran out of space on my computer, so I wasn't able to record all of it. But I watched back the recording, and apparently I was about to show how this thing works. So yeah, I have the right sword. So you're just supposed to wait for the mobs to drop through, and then smack them. And then I can kind of explain, maybe. So that just activates a tripwire, which gets observed. And then I don't really know how this works, I just know that it pushes that around. And then I do want to find a way to be able to AFK overnight in this place, but I can't. So I can maybe give a little brief explanation of how this works. So each villager is like one raid apparently, and then I don't really know what the observers are for. And then that summons this thing. Oh, that is a lot of guys. And then I could show the other raid farm as well, which is over here. So it's my first raid farm. I kind of stopped using this thing because it wasn't giving the amount of emeralds I needed, but to be honest, that probably wasn't the reason. It's because my storage system was kind of bad. Like, I used to have just a bunch of chests over here, but now I just have this thing, which, as you can see, it doesn't look filled, but then you go through, like, all the random hoppers and chests and stuff, and it is filled. And I'll still go to this thing to get saddles, because that raid farm doesn't always give saddles. Because usually it gets filled up by other stuff too fast. And then I could show the outpost I use. So it's nothing too complex here, just a simple pillager outpost where I farm these guys. So I just go to the top, so it's just a little grass platform for extra guys to spawn. And then whenever a guy with a banner spawns, I'm able to find him. Next thing I can show is this small little house I built far away. I think it was generated in 1.17 or something. I could check. Yeah, this is just just a small house I built. Just because I thought the area looked pretty nice. Maybe I could show it. Should be over here. So this is just the little house I built. I like this house, even though it has no purpose. And I have other plans for this area, because I really like this flower forest area. But, yeah, I haven't done anything here in a while. And I try to make it appear like it was a naturally generating structure just by putting random items in here. You notice I put a god apple if I wanted to. Yeah, it's iron stuff. I just put this as a small random house, but you can tell I definitely didn't spawn here since it's 2,000 blocks away. So this is just my ocean monument draining project. I've got a little bit done, but I kind of got bored of it, so. Plus I'd wanted to finish my guardian farm, so that's double what I was showed in the tutorial, so I'm already getting double the rates as the normal farm, but at some point it will just be way too efficient. But at the same time, I kind of want to fill it out just to at least have some symmetry, even though it might be so efficient it'll turn into lag. So there's not too much to show. There's just a guardian farm, and I like how this is a frozen ocean, because yeah, that's really efficient, but it doesn't really matter. I could have done this with my old Z Temple, but the Guardian farm there wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, and that wasn't an XP farm either. This, however, is, and so this is pretty simple AFK farm. But I still don't AFK here because I don't trust the Thorns effect that it gives you. Like, I tried this on a backup world and I died in that backup world overnight. So this farm is really efficient, but does still have random stuff. This farm can get fairly laggy though, because of how many entities there are. Like there's 100 right there. And I want to be able to, once I finish this farm, I want to be able to fill out the mob cap in basically no time at all. And even at 1100 levels, it still gives me quite a bit. And the cool thing about glass I learned with this farm is that you can see through it with the F5 mode. So that's all to show over here. Just because I can, I'm going to go to my other sea temple, which is over here. So yeah, the distance between these two sea temples, there really isn't too much distance. So this is my old Guardian farm. It's the same idea as my other one, except this one's a bit bigger. Well, probably smaller now, but then the original design is probably a bit bigger. And it was very laggy until I discovered that you can minimize the particle amount. So AFK area is just up there. Which I might turn into a witch farm, but the raid farm's so good I don't even know if I want to. So now I can go over here. This is my mushroom island. There's not much here except a big hole I'm digging. It's kind of just an easy way to get stone, and I experimented with the lava cast design. That was it really. I kind of want to remove this because I do want to build something in this mushroom biome, but first I gotta dig out all this area. My plan is to turn this into like a city area and then just have it from the ground up. So there's really not too much to explain about that. Then here is actually my end portal. Could sleep here. Well, it'd probably make it more inconvenient, to be honest. So I haven't used this entrance in quite a while, but I still do remember the path. Oh, still duping stamps. Hopefully that doesn't crash my game when I go into the end. Okay, that just activated, so that could be either really good or really bad. So if it does crash the game, I can give a quick tutorial on how to fix that as well. Okay, please don't crash the game. Hey, it's just laggy. Sweet. Okay, I'm glad that I didn't crash the game because I was in the mushroom biome for quite a while. Chests are completely filled up though, that's pretty cool. Eventually I do want to make an obsidian farm, but I don't know if that's possible with a sand duper at the same time. But I heard there are obsidian farms for the pillars, which I do want to make eventually. So this is my shulker farm. It's one of the best shulker farms you can get, apparently. It took quite a lot of time to build. It took me a lot of time to get the scaffolding, but that's mostly because I don't have a bamboo farm, which I might build eventually. But besides this farm, there's been no real reason to do that. This farm's also pretty complex. I don't really know how it works. All I do know is that there's a simple mechanism down here that just do sometimes the shulker will pop into this area and use more shoot more snowball or shoot more shulker shells at the snow golem. So he just shoots the shulker, and then so the cool thing about this farm is that it's unbreakable, which I have no idea how most of this works. And then there are, if I go to the statistics, if I go to the Ender Dragon, I've killed all 20 that I need, so I want to be able to reset the end, or not reset, but destroy most of the end islands once I make an obsidian farm, and then I could build something here, because right now it's really ugly, because that's for the shulker that I had to get for how did we get here. And then there's other stuff as well. So the cool thing about this farm is that it's single dimension. I could have built it in the overworld to have it always running, but I'd rather have it here because it's less intrusive. And then over here is my Wither Rose farm. So it should be over here. It's by an end city. Yeah, here's the Wither Rose farm I have. So I do want to make a storage system, but I tried to make a Skulk farm out of it as well. It didn't work. So that's all the ender pearls I throw out. So I think that's most of the stuff I can show. Okay, I forgot one thing. That was my former axolotl farm down there. This is my copper farm. I don't use this anymore because I have a much better one. This is kind of just like a biome diamond thing. And then I'm planning on, I don't know what I'm going to put on top of like this spire, but I'm planning on just covering it with iron and making it a rocket or something. That would look cool. And then that's just a sugarcane farm I use from time to time, even though my AFK one exists. So that's the nether, it's the overworld. I'm planning on putting the end over here. I was also planning on putting Skulk over here. Because that's the reason this is so empty. There's a couple ores, but not much. So I'm thinking of other things I can show. I think I have to go back to the nether to be able to show more. Oh, this is just a small castle I built a long time, or not, I say a long time ago. It doesn't feel like that long ago because it was only a few months ago. But in Minecraft, it's probably like 2,000 days. Oh yeah, I forgot about this thing. This is just a dripstone farm. Not much to say. It's not very efficient, but the most dripstone I got from this thing when I was trying to AFK at this farm, it really doesn't give too much. This is just a carpet duper. I've never used it. I plan to use it for my creeper farm over there, but I don't even use it. So this is my second full iron zombie. The first one I got, I just put in there because it had a helmet, so I was like, oh, it should be fine. Turns out the sun does damage to their helmet, so once that breaks, they're dead. So that's why there's water in there, so his helmet doesn't break. I just saw a meme about this being a life hack because the mangrove log looks like meat, so I just put it there when the 1.19 came out. And then I'm trying to think of other stuff. So yeah, I have to go to the nether. I think that's all of this world tour. And then, well, I guess I can go down here and show a little bit of stuff. So this is the world's least efficient dripstone farm. I don't know why it's not working, but it just doesn't work. And then this is just a pit I dug out because, you know, whenever I'm out of stone, I just dig a hole in the ground. And then one very minor thing before I go explore more, or go show more stuff. In here is just an axolotl tank. Most of these guys are actually just from the village, like my second village that I used, how to use the nether to get to. This is just a snow golem, or a snow farm. Then this is just another pit I dug out for stone. And then here's a little tank you can use to to feed the axolotls or get them or whatever. Okay, well, let's go to the nether and I can show off more stuff. Actually, I forgot my creeper farm. Well, the new one I built. I was so close to it yet so far. That's just another experimental lava cast that I blew up a little bit. So this is my creeper farm. Pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Same idea as my mob farm, but only for creepers and spiders, so I do get some string. And it is decently efficient, but my actual mob farm is more efficient for some reason. Okay, so here's the farm. This farm took like 2 days to build because of how big it is. So this is all I had to cover. I had to cover all of this to make it work 24/7, or work all the time. This is just a regeneration beacon for AFKing. I don't know what that guy's doing up there, he must have spawned. So yeah, this already shows how efficient this thing is. There's no trident drowned yet, but let's probably break that. I made that for AFKing with phantoms on me, but this probably works just as well. And it also gives a pretty decent amount of XP. I wouldn't recommend building this as an XP farm because it takes so much work for just a decent amount of XP. Still pretty good, just not endgame levels like I want. The Guardian farm's the only viable way of getting XP now. Guardian and the Gold farm, those are the good ones. Might have already gotten a trident from that. And then this does give a pretty good amount of copper, like just a bunch of tridents laying around. And then I get a little bit of copper from it as well. I say a little bit, but this is all the blocks I made. So now I can give a little tour of this thing. So yeah, it's a really big farm. I had to collect a bunch of blocks for this. Like this side looks pretty good. It's all made out of just prismarine. But this side's pretty ugly because it's made out of netherrack and a little bit of prismarine and ice. So that's it really. And the way it works is that there's just a huge tank where drown spawn. They get pushed into here, take a little bit of damage, so they're one hits. Then they get pushed into the tubes, and then I'm able to kill them. So it's not the most complex farm, it's just really big. So this is why I had to use the biggest lake, or not lake, but river biome. So that's why I had to build it so far away, because these are the 1.18 chunks. If I go, probably going to end with the wither skeleton farm, because it's the farthest thing away from my base. So that's how it works. It's not the most complex thing. So, oh god, why are they so fast? They lagged for a minute, so they just moved really fast. So the way this works is pretty simple. So they just spawn, and then zombie piglins get lured to the eggs, and they despawn. Or you can just kill them yourself. So, and then only wither skeletons can pathfind to the golems because of how tall they are. And the repeaters help, I guess, make it easier only for wither skeletons to see, and then normal skeletons despawn. I tried upgrading this and putting wither roses, but apparently that doesn't work, which is kind of sad. That's my old wither skeleton farm. It doesn't work anymore because Piglin died, and that happened while I was building this farm. And I know this sounds pretty weird, but this one gives like 130 skulls per hour, this one gives 135, so I'm like, ooh, I need 5 extra skulls, and so I got 5 extra skulls. So that should be safe. I don't know for sure, but let's see. So I got my smite sword, god apples, actually I might just need normal golden apples. Okay, let's test this out. Who knows, I might not even need it. Oh cool, I'm safe. Yeah, this is wasn't even dangerous at all, because I went through the right portal. I didn't know if they would link or not, so should be over here. So it should be right over here, I'm pretty sure. I think it should be... Forgot where this farm is, to be honest. Oh, I think I'm the wrong... I think I'm going... Yep, there it is. So this should be where the wither skeletons are. So I think now I should probably put on my gear, so I'm safe. Okay, there doesn't seem to be any skeletons. That's pretty cool. So if I just turn render distance down, I should spawn in a few minutes. So I do want to make a sorter for this thing eventually, but not right now. So that should be pretty much everything in the tour of this world. So thank you all for watching. That was fun to do, and I will do a stream for 5,000 days soon. So that's going to be the end of this world tour. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will do something special for 5,000 days.